the program is not for everybody. And, some of the things, and I can tell you firsthand from experience with dealers in these programs and reinsurance is this program is going to require more dealer involvement than typical reinsurance programs. Certainly a lot more than a dealer that might be in a retro and all he's doing is getting a check once a year. In this program, you have a domestic corporation. It needs to file state income tax returns, federal income tax returns. There are typically filings that are due in the state that the company is domiciled in as well. So again, this is a corporation and it's run accordingly. One big thing I like to tell people is there is limited lifespan of this program because typically, when you get to that point down the road where we're no longer able to generate net operating losses, in other words, either we've slowed down in production or, our terms are less, a number of variety of reasons. If we don't end up putting this company in runoff, it ends up paying corporate tax on both the underwriting profit and the net investment income. So from a tax planning standpoint, generally what happens is once we reach that point where the company becomes taxable, we need to look at another structure. We would put the existing DOWC into runoff and then look to, something else, whether that's a different DOWC with different ownership, multiple CFC structure, an NCFC, and or a retro or a combination thereof. It's not something we set up and then just walk away and leave it in perpetuity. It has to be monitored. It has to be watched. You cannot put programs that or products that are considered insurance like GAP into a DOWC. As I mentioned before, from a regulatory standpoint, the DOWC is not an insurance company. So any insurance products, can't go into it. We can't assume risk on insurance contracts. I've had a couple of people just in the last week ask me about having their DOWC reinsure GAP, and again, it's not a reinsurance program.
So, Greg, you talked about the dealer being more involved. So one of the big things we saw, if you roll back the clock, it used to be acceptable in the industry to do quarterly reinsurance statements and have quarterly meetings, right? And in the last 2 years, we put a huge emphasis on automating statements every month, that they come out every single month so they're more live, right? And we found that was even more important in the DOWC because they do need to be monitored more. So you have to make it easy to get all these sessions and bank statements and stats out.
Yeah, there are, a lot of different, dealer strategies. We've got, some dealer clients that will look at claims and say, they want to be involved in approving anything over $500 on a claim, that may be in this program. Others say 1,000. Most reinsurance programs are not set up that way. Right. Again, because of the nature of the insurance and the way they're set up, who the obligor is. Typically, the administrator has the call on that. But again, if you've got a dealer that is into, managing the program like that, it is something that provides more flexibility.
We actually had to introduce the notification module to send text alerts to dealers that they got a claim pending for $500 and what do they want to do.
Yep.
So that's
now personally, I would not want to be involved in that. I mean, I would trust the administrator that I've hired to adjudicate the claims. But again, there are some people that, want to watch all this.